Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that constantly tells us what to do. Get a good job, work hard, make money, be successful. And yet, so many people wake up every morning feeling uninspired. They go through the motions doing what they're supposed to do, but deep inside they feel empty. Something is missing. That missing piece is purpose. It's the reason you get out of bed in the morning. It's the reason some people love what they do while others count the minutes until the day is over. When we don't have a clear sense of why we do what we do, life becomes a series of tasks instead of a journey filled with meaning. Finding your why isn't about chasing success, it's about understanding what truly drives you. It's not about what you do, but about the reason behind it. People who know their why are the ones who inspire others, who create change, and who leave a lasting impact on the world. The question is, how do you find yours? Start by looking at your past. Think about the moments in your life when you felt truly alive, when you were completely in your element. These moments hold clues to your why. Maybe it was a time when you helped someone, when you created something, when you stood up for something you believed in. Those moments, no matter how small, are not random. They are signs of what fulfills you. Your why is not about you, it's about how you serve others. The most inspiring people don't wake up thinking about how to be successful. They wake up thinking about how to make a difference. It could be through the work you do, the way you lead, or even the way you support the people around you. When your purpose is rooted in service, success becomes a byproduct, not the goal. Fear is the biggest obstacle to finding your why. We tell ourselves stories about why we can't do what we love. We worry about money, failure, or what other people will think. But the truth is, the people who change the world are not the ones who wait for permission. They are the ones who trust their gut, take risks, and push forward even when it's uncomfortable. If you want to find your why, start by asking yourself better questions. Instead of asking, what should I do with my life? Ask, what kind of impact do I want to make? Instead of, how can I be successful? Ask, how can I contribute in a way that matters? The answers to these questions will guide you to your purpose. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. The people you spend the most time with will either inspire you or hold you back. Choose those who believe in something bigger than themselves, who challenge you to grow, and who encourage you to follow your passion. Because when you are around people who have found their why, it pushes you to discover yours. Action is the key. You don't need to have a perfect plan to start. You just need to take one step in the direction that excites you. Do more of what energizes you. Say yes to opportunities that align with your values. Try new things, fail, learn, and adjust. Your why isn't something you find overnight. It's something you uncover through action. When you live with purpose, everything changes. Work is no longer just work. Success is no longer just about money or titles. And challenges no longer feel like roadblocks, but stepping stones towards something bigger. Because when you know why you do what you do, you don't need motivation. You are driven by something deeper. Success alone doesn't bring lasting happiness. True fulfillment comes from knowing why you do what you do. Your most meaningful experiences reveal patterns that can help uncover your deeper purpose. The most impactful people focus on making a difference rather than just personal success. Doubts and external pressures keep many from pursuing their true purpose, but pushing past fear leads to growth. You don't need a perfect plan to start. Taking small steps in the right direction will help reveal your why. People spend their entire lives chasing success, believing that if they just work harder, earn more money, or achieve a higher status, they will finally feel fulfilled. But time and time again, we see people who have everything society tells us to strive for, wealth, power, recognition, yet still feel empty inside. They may have all the external markers of success, but deep down something is missing. That missing piece is not more money, a better title, or even more achievements. The missing piece is purpose. Purpose is what gives our actions meaning. It is the difference between working a job and building a career, between making a living and making an impact. When we have a clear sense of why we do what we do, everything changes. Work no longer feels like an obligation. It becomes an opportunity to contribute to something greater than ourselves. Challenges no longer feel like burdens. They become necessary steps on the path to something meaningful. Without purpose, life can feel like an endless cycle of tasks. But with purpose, even the smallest actions can feel significant. We often mistake achievement for fulfillment, but the two are not the same. Achievement is about hitting goals, reaching milestones, and gaining recognition. Fulfillment, on the other hand, is about knowing that what you do matters. It is the feeling that your work, your efforts, and your time are spent on something that aligns with your values. You can achieve success without fulfillment, but you cannot feel fulfilled without a sense of purpose. The people who wake up excited for the day ahead, who pour their energy into their work with passion, are not the ones chasing success for its own sake. They are the ones who have found their why. They have connected their work to something meaningful, something that extends beyond themselves. When you know your why, it becomes the foundation for everything you do. It gives you direction, clarity, and motivation that doesn't fade when challenges arise. Without purpose, even the most rewarding careers can become exhausting. A person might love what they do at first, but if they lose sight of why it matters, the excitement fades, and work starts to feel like a chore. This is why so many people experience burnout, not because they are working too hard, but because they no longer feel connected to something meaningful. Passion alone is not enough to sustain us. We need a deeper reason to keep going. Some of the most successful people in the world, across industries and professions, have one thing in common: they are driven by a purpose bigger than themselves. Great leaders do not just seek power, they seek to serve. Great businesses do not just chase profits, they solve real problems. Great artists do not just create for the sake of fame, they create to inspire and connect with others. Purpose is what separates those who find lasting fulfillment from those who feel empty despite their success. Finding purpose is not about having all the answers right away. It is about paying attention to what truly excites and inspires you. It is about looking at your work, your relationships, and your daily actions and asking, does this align with what I care about most? Purpose does not always come in one big revelation. Sometimes it is discovered through small moments of clarity, moments when we feel completely engaged, when we know deep down that what we are doing is right. We often think purpose is something we need to create from scratch, but the truth is, it is already within us. It is found in the things we naturally care about, the problems we feel drawn to solve, and the people we feel compelled to help. It is the reason some people dedicate their lives to teaching, others to building businesses, and others to creating art. Purpose is not one size fits all, it is deeply personal. When people operate without purpose, they can easily be swayed by external expectations. They choose careers based on what looks good on paper rather than what feels right in their hearts. They chase success because they think it will bring happiness, only to realize that checking all the right boxes does not necessarily lead to fulfillment. But when people operate with a clear sense of purpose, they make decisions based on what truly matters to them. They are not easily discouraged by setbacks because they know why they are doing what they do. They find joy in the process, not just in the results. Purpose is not reserved for a select few. It is something everyone can find. It does not matter what industry you work in, what your background is, or where you are in life right now. What matters is taking the time to reflect, to ask yourself what truly matters to you, and to align your actions with that deeper sense of meaning. When you live with purpose, success is no longer just about personal gain. It becomes about making an impact, contributing to something bigger, and finding deep satisfaction in what you do every day. The moments that define us are not random. They are clues, pieces of a larger puzzle that reveal what truly matters to us. Yet most people go through life without ever stopping to examine those moments, without ever asking themselves why certain experiences stand out more than others. The key to discovering your purpose is not in looking ahead at what you should do, but in looking back at what has already ignited something inside you. Throughout life, there are moments when time seems to disappear, when we feel completely present, when what we are doing does not feel like an obligation, but rather something we want to do. These moments, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, hold incredible value. They are signals pointing us toward what we are naturally drawn to, what fulfills us, and what makes us feel most alive. Think back to your childhood. Long before the expectations of society shaped your decisions, what were the things you loved to do? What were the moments when you felt happiest, most engaged, or most curious? As children, we don't overthink purpose. We simply follow what excites us. Some loved building things, some enjoyed storytelling, some were drawn to helping others. But as we grow older, we are taught to focus on practicality. We are told to follow stability, not passion, to choose careers based on security rather than fulfillment. And in doing so, we often lose sight of what naturally brings us joy. But those moments from the past never truly disappear. They are always there, waiting for us to reconnect with them. If you take the time to reflect, you will notice patterns. Maybe you were always the person your friends turned to for advice. Maybe you always found yourself drawn to creative projects even when they had nothing to do with work. Maybe you felt the most alive when leading a team, solving a complex problem, or speaking in front of an audience. These moments are not coincidences. They are indicators of what resonates deeply with you. Your purpose is often hidden in the experiences that brought you the most fulfillment. It might have been a time when you helped someone through a difficult situation, and for the first time, you felt like what you did truly mattered. It might have been a moment when you built or created something and you realized that bringing ideas to life excites you. Or it might have been a conversation, an event, or an experience that made you feel connected to something bigger than yourself. The challenge is not finding these moments, they are already there. The challenge is recognizing their significance. Sometimes the things that matter most to us are so natural that we overlook them. We assume that if something comes easily to us, it must not be valuable. But the opposite is true. The things that energize you, that make you lose track of time, that you would do even if you weren't being paid, those are the things that hold the greatest clues about your why. We often make the mistake of thinking that purpose has to be something grand, something revolutionary. But in reality, purpose is often found in the small, everyday experiences that bring us joy and meaning. The moments when we feel the most connected to ourselves and to others. The moments when we feel like we are exactly where we are supposed to be. Look at the times when you felt proud, not because of external validation, but because you knew deep down that what you did mattered. Look at the moments when you felt most engaged, when work didn't feel like work, when you were fully present. Look at the times when people thanked you, not because they had to, but because what you did genuinely impacted them. These are the moments that reveal your deeper purpose. Your past is filled with lessons about what fulfills you. The experiences that made you feel alive, the challenges that shaped you, and the moments that gave you clarity, they are all connected. But it is up to you to take the time to recognize those patterns, to reflect on what truly resonates with you, and to use that knowledge as a guide for the future. Many people spend their lives searching for purpose as if it is something they need to create from nothing. But the truth is, your purpose has been revealing itself to you all along. It has been present in the moments when you felt most yourself, in the experiences that left a lasting impact, and in the things you naturally care about. The question is not whether your why exists. It always has. The question is whether you are willing to look back and find the clues that have been there all along. Everyone has moments in their life that stand out. These moments aren't always the biggest, loudest, or most obvious. Sometimes they are quiet, personal experiences that at the time may not have seemed significant. But when we look back, we begin to see patterns. We begin to notice that certain types of experiences made us feel more alive, more engaged, more connected. These moments are not random. They are clues. Clues that point us toward what truly matters to us. Many people struggle to find their purpose because they are too focused on looking forward. They try to predict the future, chase the next opportunity, or look at what others are doing and wonder if they should follow the same path. But the answers to who we are and what drives us are rarely found by looking ahead. They are found by looking back. The past holds valuable insights into the things that naturally energize us, the things we are drawn to, and the things that make us feel a sense of meaning. Think back to the moments in your life when you felt completely engaged, when time seemed to disappear and you were so immersed in what you were doing that nothing else seemed to matter. Maybe it was a project you were working on, a conversation you had, a challenge you overcame, or a time when you helped someone. These are the moments that reveal the essence of what excites you. They might seem scattered and unrelated, but when you take a step back and look for patterns, you start to see a clearer picture of what truly drives you. As children, we instinctively gravitate toward things that bring us joy and curiosity. Before we are influenced by expectations, financial concerns, or societal pressures, we explore freely. Some of us naturally take on leadership roles in group activities, while others prefer to create, build, or solve problems. But as we grow older, the world tells us what we should do. We start making decisions based on practicality instead of passion. We choose careers that seem safe instead of ones that excite us. We stop listening to that inner voice that once guided us toward what we love. But the things that once made you feel alive don't just disappear. They stay with you, waiting to be rediscovered. If you look back at your life, you will find moments where you felt deeply fulfilled, even if they were brief. Maybe it was a time when you helped someone through a tough situation, and for the first time you felt like what you did truly mattered. Maybe it was a moment when you brought a team together and you realized you love guiding and inspiring others. Maybe it was a time when you lost yourself in creating something, a piece of writing, a design, a project, and you felt completely in flow. Purpose often hides in plain sight. It's in the things you do effortlessly, the things people thank you for, the things that light you up. But because these things come naturally, we often overlook them. We assume that if something is easy or enjoyable for us, it must not be valuable. We think that purpose has to be difficult, that it has to be something grand or world-changing. But true purpose is not about struggle. It's about alignment. It's about recognizing what you are naturally drawn to and leaning into it. Look at your proudest moments, not the ones where you received an award or external validation, but the ones where you felt a deep sense of satisfaction. What were you doing? Who were you with? What was it about that moment that made it feel meaningful? The answers to these questions provide insight into your values and what drives you. Another way to find patterns in your past is to look at the moments that changed you. Sometimes our purpose is revealed through challenges, through the struggles we've overcome, and the lessons we've learned along the way. The hardships we face often shape what we care about. Someone who's experienced deep loss might feel drawn to helping others through grief. Someone who struggled to find their voice might be passionate about empowering others to speak up. The experiences that leave the biggest impact on us often guide us toward how we can make an impact on others. Your why is not something you have to invent. It is something you uncover. It has been revealing itself to you in the moments of your life that felt the most authentic, the most meaningful, the most real. When you take the time to reflect, to look for the patterns, you begin to see a roadmap, a trail of breadcrumbs that have been leading you toward your purpose all along. The question is, are you willing to follow them? Many people search for their purpose by asking themselves what they want out of life, what will make them happy, what will bring them success, what will give them the lifestyle they dream of. But the real question isn't about what you can get. The real question is about what you can give. Purpose isn't about serving yourself, it's about serving others. The most fulfilled and impactful people in the world don't wake up thinking about how they can be successful. They wake up thinking about how they can contribute, how they can make a difference, how they can leave things better than they found them. People who operate with a strong sense of purpose don't chase success for the sake of personal gain. Instead, they pursue something bigger than themselves. A teacher doesn't just teach because it's a job. They do it because they believe in shaping young minds. A doctor doesn't just treat patients to collect a paycheck. They do it because they are driven by the desire to heal. A business leader doesn't just grow a company for profit. They do it because they believe in solving a problem or improving people's lives. Purpose is found in service, in impact, in doing something that extends beyond personal benefit. If you want to understand your why, shift your focus from yourself to others. Ask yourself, who do I want to help? How do I want to make a difference? What problem do I feel compelled to solve? These questions matter because they take the focus away from external rewards and redirect it toward internal fulfillment. The people who love what they do don't just love the activity itself, they love the way it impacts others. A writer isn't just passionate about writing, they are passionate about the way their words inspire, educate, or move people. A coach isn't just passionate about strategy, they are passionate about unlocking potential in others. A musician isn't just passionate about playing instruments, they are passionate about creating an emotional connection with their audience. When you understand that purpose is rooted in service, you start to realize that fulfillment comes not from what you take, but from what you give. This is why even people who have all the money and success in the world still feel empty if they aren't contributing to something meaningful. No amount of personal achievement can replace the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing you've made a real impact. One of the biggest misconceptions about purpose is that it has to be something huge, something world-changing. But the truth is, impact isn't measured by scale. It's measured by meaning. A teacher who changes one student's life has made an impact. A nurse who comforts a single patient has made an impact. A mentor who helps just one person gain confidence has made an impact. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be real. The irony is that when you focus on serving others, success often follows. The best businesses are built not by those who chase money, but by those who solve meaningful problems. The best leaders don't seek power, they seek to empower others. The best artists don't create for fame, they create to express something true. When you lead with service, people are naturally drawn to you. Customers want to buy from companies that genuinely care. Employees want to work for leaders who inspire. Audiences want to support artists who are authentic. Fulfillment leads to success, not the other way around. This is why the most purpose-driven people are also the most resilient. When challenges arise, they don't quit because they aren't just working for themselves. They are working for something greater. A teacher doesn't give up when students struggle because they are committed to shaping lives. A firefighter doesn't hesitate to run into danger because they are driven by a mission to protect others. A business owner doesn't stop when things get hard because they believe in the value of what they are creating. When your purpose is about others, your motivation becomes stronger than fear, setbacks, or obstacles. If you're struggling to find your why, stop asking what you want from life and start asking what you can give. Look at the times in your life when helping someone else brought you joy. Look at the problems you feel deeply about. Look at the moments when you lost yourself in something because you cared about the outcome, not just the reward. Your purpose is not found in personal gain, it is found in contribution. And the more you focus on serving, the more fulfilled you will become. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles standing between people and their purpose. It disguises itself in different ways: self-doubt, hesitation, overthinking, but at its core, fear keeps us from stepping into what we are meant to do. It convinces us that we are not ready, that we are not good enough, that someone else could do it better. It whispers all the reasons why we should stay where we are instead of moving towards something greater. And because fear feels real, many people listen to it. They let it dictate their decisions, their actions, and ultimately their lives. Most people don't pursue their true purpose not because they don't have one, but because they are afraid of what might happen if they try. They fear failure, rejection, embarrassment. They fear stepping into the unknown, leaving behind security, or disappointing the people around them. Fear is powerful because it plays on our deepest insecurities. It convinces us that taking a risk is dangerous, that staying where we are is the safer option. But the truth is, the real danger is in never trying at all. Fear is not a sign that you should stop. It is a sign that you are on the edge of something important. Every person who has ever done something meaningful has faced fear. Every leader, every artist, every entrepreneur, every change maker has felt the weight of doubt and uncertainty. But the difference between those who fulfill their purpose and those who don't is not the presence or absence of fear, it is the decision to act despite it. If you wait until fear disappears before you start, you will never begin. The people who achieve great things don't do so because they have no fear. They do so because they refuse to let fear control them. They recognize that fear is just a feeling, not a fact. It does not predict the future. It only reflects our anxieties about the unknown. And the only way to move past it is to take action in spite of it. One of the biggest fears that holds people back is the fear of failure. No one wants to fail. No one wants to put themselves out there only to fall short. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. No one gets it right the first time. No one builds something meaningful without mistakes, setbacks, and struggles. The people who succeed are not the ones who avoid failure. They are the ones who learn from it. They use failure as fuel, as feedback, as a stepping stone towards something better. The fear of what other people will think is another obstacle that keeps people from pursuing their purpose. People worry about judgment, about criticism, about not being accepted. But the reality is, no matter what you do, there will always be someone who disapproves. No matter how careful you are, someone will have an opinion. If you base your decisions on what other people think, you will never live for yourself. You will always be chasing approval instead of meaning. The only way to move forward is to realize that other people's opinions do not define you. Your purpose is yours, and it does not need validation from anyone else. Fear also tricks us into believing that we have to be fully prepared before we start. Many people delay their dreams because they feel they need more experience, more skills, more resources. But no one starts fully prepared. Growth happens through action, not before it. The only way to truly learn is to begin. Waiting until you feel ready is just another way of letting fear win. The most powerful way to overcome fear is to take the first step, no matter how small. Once you take action, fear loses its grip. The more you do, the more confident you become. Confidence is not something you have before you start. It is something you build by starting. Every time you push through fear, you prove to yourself that you are capable. And with each step forward, the fear that once seemed overwhelming begins to fade. Fear will always be there. It does not go away entirely, no matter how experienced or successful you become. But it does become quieter when you stop giving it power. When you recognize that fear is simply part of the journey, you stop letting it control your choices. You realize that purpose is not found in waiting for fear to disappear, it is found in taking action despite it. Clarity does not come from sitting still, it does not come from waiting for the perfect moment, overthinking every possibility, or hoping that one day everything will suddenly make sense. Clarity comes from action. It comes from movement, from trying, from doing. The people who discover their purpose are not the ones who spend their lives thinking about it. They are the ones who step forward, take risks, and allow the journey to shape them. Many people believe they need to have everything figured out before they begin. They think they need a perfect plan, a clear roadmap, or absolute certainty before they take the first step. But the truth is, purpose is not something you find by sitting still. It is something you uncover through experience. The only way to know if something is right for you is to try it. The only way to discover what excites you, what fulfills you, what truly matters to you, is to engage with the world and see what resonates. Action leads to insight in a way that thinking never can. When you try something new, you gain real feedback. You learn what energizes you, what drains you, what excites you, and what feels forced. Every step you take gives you more information about yourself and the path you should be on. Even if something doesn't work out, even if you realize it's not for you, that experience is still valuable. It narrows your focus. It eliminates distractions. It brings you one step closer to what is right for you. The problem is that many people wait. They wait for the right opportunity, the right amount of confidence, the right level of experience. They wait until they feel fully prepared, until the fear goes away, until everything is lined up perfectly. But waiting is an illusion. There is no perfect time. There is no moment when everything suddenly feels easy. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Fear grows stronger, doubt becomes louder, and before you know it, years have passed and you are still in the same place, wondering why clarity never came. The people who discover their purpose are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the most prepared. They are simply the ones who take action. They experiment, they try things, fail, adjust, and try again. They move forward, even when they are uncertain. They understand that purpose is not something you passively receive, it is something you actively create. Think about the most fulfilled people in the world. They did not wake up one day with a fully formed vision of their purpose. They started with something small. They pursued what interested them, followed their curiosity, and allowed their experiences to guide them. A great writer does not wait until they have the perfect idea. They write every day, and through that process, they discover their voice. A great entrepreneur does not wait for the perfect business idea. They start something, see what works, and evolve over time. A great leader does not wait until they feel completely ready. They step up, make mistakes, learn, and grow. The mistake many people make is thinking that the first step needs to be big. It doesn't. It just needs to be something. A conversation, a class, a small project, a volunteer opportunity, anything that moves you forward. The first step is not about success. It is about momentum. Once you start, even in the smallest way, you gain confidence. You see what is possible. You realize that action is not as scary as you thought. And with each step, your path becomes clearer. Another reason action is so important is that it creates unexpected opportunities. When you put yourself out there, when you try new things, doors open that you could never have planned for. You meet people, gain experiences, and discover possibilities that you didn't even know existed. But none of that happens if you stay still. None of that happens if you wait. The irony is that most people think they need clarity to take action, when in reality, taking action is what creates clarity. The first step leads to the second leads to the third, and with each step you refine your purpose, gain more confidence, and move closer to the life you are meant to live. You do not need all the answers before you begin. You do not need to have everything figured out. You just need to start. Because purpose is not something you wait for, it is something you discover by doing. Finding your why is not about searching for one perfect answer. It is about recognizing the patterns in your life, understanding what truly drives you, and taking action even when the path isn't fully clear. It is about looking at the moments that have shaped you, the experiences that have energized you, and the ways in which you can contribute to something greater than yourself. Many people spend their lives waiting for purpose to reveal itself. They hope that one day they will wake up with absolute clarity, knowing exactly what they are meant to do. But purpose does not come from waiting. It comes from doing. It comes from engaging with the world, from taking risks, from stepping into the unknown. It is not something you find, it is something you build. This journey is not about having a perfect plan, it is about movement. It is about trusting that every experience, every failure, every success is leading you towards something meaningful. The people who live with purpose are not necessarily the ones who had everything figured out from the start. They are the ones who followed what inspired them, who paid attention to the things that made them come alive, and who had the courage to take the first step even when they were unsure. The truth is, purpose is not a destination. It is not a single point you reach where everything makes perfect sense. It is a continuous process of growth, learning, and discovery. It evolves as you evolve. What feels like your purpose today may expand into something even greater tomorrow. The key is to stay open, to keep learning, and to allow yourself to be guided by the things that truly matter to you. If you want to live with purpose, you must be willing to embrace fear. Fear will always be present when you are stepping into something meaningful. It will try to convince you to play it safe, to wait until you feel ready, to hold back. But fear is not a stop sign. It is simply a sign that you are moving beyond your comfort zone. The people who make the greatest impact are not those who never feel fear. They are the ones who refuse to let fear hold them back. And above all, purpose is about service. It is not just about what you want for yourself, but about what you can give to others. The most fulfilled people are not those who chase success, but those who use their talents, their passions, and their experiences to make a difference. When you focus on how you can contribute, whether to one person, a community, or the world, you create a life that is not only meaningful, but deeply fulfilling. The answers you are looking for are not in the future. They are in your past experiences, in your present passions, in the people you feel drawn to help, in the things you do that make time disappear. Purpose is not waiting to be found. It is waiting to be uncovered through action, through reflection, through courage. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to be fearless. You just need to begin. Because purpose is not something that comes to those who wait. It is something that reveals itself to those who step forward.